I just didn't want to cook anymore, you know. They had a kitchen off-site, but I just didn't want to do it, if you know what I mean. So I started going to a lot of work groups. So I went to the Occupy homes in yesterday in Brooklyn, you know, and a lot of groups were together with Occupy, you know, from East New York. They went to East New York because East New York has the most foreclosures. I mean, 5 times the amount of foreclosures that are in New York State as a whole. Can you believe that? I mean, the bankers, they destroyed it. They gutted it. I mean, the bankers have gutted that place. I mean, every other house is vacant. So what OWS did with the community groups all together, they picked a family, picked a foreclosed house. It wasn't their house, you know, but it was a house that had been vacant for about 3 years. And they went in there and occupied it, you know, occupied it. So, you know, they went in like with a crew of carpenters and people who were cleaning, and with the family. And they just had them occupy the place. So, you know, there were probably about 500 or 600 people there, you know, with banners, signs, even a brass band, you know. I mean, and so we stopped on our way at a couple of houses, you know, and people would come out and speak to us. And they would say things like, my house is in foreclosure, you know, I've been in foreclosure for 2 years. And then they would tell us their story, and we would, like, you know, people mic them. And then we arrived at our final destination, you know, and people brought gifts. I mean, one of the councilwomen, she said, you know, we brought gifts because that's what you do when people move in. That makes sense. It was really cool, actually, you know. Well, yeah, I mean, I have this favorite chant so far, you know. I mean, maybe you've heard this one. It goes like this. Ready? Ready? You want budget cuts. You want budget cuts. We think you're fucking nuts. We think you're fucking nuts. You know, yesterday was really filled with joy. You know, it really was. And the weather was lousy, and we were all soaked to the skin. It was great. And so we got them moved in, and OWCS moved in with the community groups to give them around-the-clock coverage. And the community group, well, the clergy and the community and OWS stayed around the clock because they wanted to be there around the clock just in case the police, you know, wanted to move in too, you know. You know, come on, I've been to a bunch of these things, you know. And every time I've been there, there's been arrests and police brutality. You know, that's just how it is. But this time, the cops weren't touching it. They weren't touching it. It was so... I've never seen anything like it. You know, I don't think I cannot do this, you know? I mean, I've just seen too much already. You know, like, everybody does their part, you know? I mean, I don't know what my part is, kind of as an actress, you know? So I'm doing this. My union is horrible. Horrible! equally horrible, you know? So horrible. I mean, they're just controlled by the powers that be. I mean, they're just depend on charity. It's because we're not nationalized in this country. Don't you know that? I mean, we depend on the rich to give money to theaters. I mean, like the Koch brothers, and what they give money to the Met and to the ballet, and the Koch brothers and Bloomberg, they're the biggest contributors to Lincoln Center. You know, that's the reason why we weren't let in there, you know. Well, yeah, there was this happening, you know? There was this happening that had to do with Satyagraha, the opera. You know, Philip Glass, he wrote this opera about nonviolence. Well, it was the last performance. Philip Glass spoke. He did People's Mic. It was beautiful. I mean, he stood up there, and the first thing that he said was, righteousness, when righteousness is ignored, evilness can flourish. You know, Philip Glass music. Very repetitive, beautiful, gorgeous, but repetitive. He said that 3 times. You know, it was so Philip Glass, so Philip Glass. Anyway, we waited till the opera got out, you know, and then we took off our shoes and we lined them up on the barricade. It was 35 degrees out, you know. But that's what they do in the opera. Gandhi and the resistors, the Indian resistors who were resisting British rule, you know, they take off their shoes and they line them up at the edge of the stage right at the beginning of the play. So that's to represent and symbolize humility, groundedness, and being part of the earth, you know? So we did that too. So when the people came out, you know, they came out, they were kind of like children. They were like children coming out of school, you know? And there were all these cops, but there was a barricade of people chanting and playing music with shoes along the barricade, just like they had seen on the stage. They were like kids at Christmas. I mean, they were coming out so slowly, kind of peering around like kids do, around the corners. And the cops were yelling, "Go back!" But they just kept coming. And the cops weren't going to rough them up because, after all, they were coming out of the opera, you know. And we were like, join us, you know, join us. And about 100 people came forward and joined us. I mean, it was really, and Satyagraha is Sanskrit, you know. Skrit means insist on truth. That's what it means. So much of this stuff is just theater, you know? I mean, highly symbolic. And I think the more people that see that, like when we were marching through the neighborhoods in East New York, you know, people just came out and they went, oh, you know, like that. And it just felt like so, I don't know, you know, it was very strange to, you know, the opera, go to the opera, and then there in East New York, and well, it was all kind of startling in itself. In 1 week, to go from there to there was